Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday Facebook Live update for North Tonawanda City School District. So today marks our very first week. Basically, we started last Thursday, the 10th. So tomorrow we'll welcome back our Thursday, Friday students to their third day of school, basically in person. And we had our Monday, Tuesday group in, and all went smooth there. And so today was our first sort of remote Wednesday. So remote Wednesday is still getting tweaked, just like our hybrid model is. But probably the most important thing I want to tell families is that the first week of October, the first full week, October 5th, we'll be doing some committee meetings with all the buildings and having a few student reps from middle school, high school sit on that as well to sort of see how the first 5 weeks went, because we'll be getting close to that. That'll be the 5th week of school back, and we need to make a decision for what happens after 10 weeks. So right now, the good news is while we are watching the COVID issue and spikes, we haven't had any calls from the Department of Health yet. We did have some people with symptoms that we sent home to get checked out and are explaining the rules to them on how to get back in. But right now we're through week 1 with no active cases where the Department of Health is calling to say this person, being an adult or a student, has COVID and was in the building with these students, and you need to contact parents. So that's great news for us to get started. We're also looking forward to Monday the 21st because some sports will start in this area. There is a separate committee that works with sports called the NFL and Section 6 in this area, and so they're devising a way to keep sports safe. So just recently, they are looking at what contact sports can and cannot be. We know we're going to have golf, tennis, and some swimming and cross country. So that changes daily, but the registration form on if you want your child to partake in sports that we'll have is happening. And we also sent a letter out to some of our staff, the union president mostly, to talk about what clubs and activities are crucial. So for example, like yearbook. We can't wait 10 weeks to start yearbook. So we want to get a full list of those, and then we'll get that information out on Schoology for kids who want to be part of those clubs or activities that we may be able to start running as well the week of the 21st. So all in all, it was a pretty smooth start for a hybrid model that we've never done before. Have a lot of little tweaks to make along the way, and technology never works exactly right. Even with Facebook Live, I've had to last minute use my phone because the computer wasn't working. So we know these kind of glitches will come up, and it's not perfect. There's no replacement for being in school 5 days a week, and that's our goal. So when we meet that October 5th week, we'll be looking at if we can and how we may look to move in that direction and how that can happen safely. And then it'll give us at least 3 to 4 weeks for parents to know what the process will be for after into November when the 10 weeks is up for this hybrid model that we started with. So let's see what kind of questions we hear. So someone's saying, I did hear on the news too that Lackawanna had COVID-19. So how do I pull my child out? So if you are asking about Lackawanna, I don't know, but in North Tonawanda, if you hear, you get a call, or we'll be doing a global call or something like that. Like I said, we haven't had any cases, and you want your child to then go full remote, you would just simply call the building and let them know your choice, that you want to go full remote, so that that can be set up and arranged, and we'll adjust with transportation and the school and all the way that they're being attendance taken now. I think when they said COVID face, they mistyped and they meant to put a COVID case. So that's what that person was asking, what's COVID face. Everything went great on our end. 3 kiddos in school. Thanks for everything. So I do want to also mention too that we are doing lunches on Mondays and Wednesdays for the hybrid students who aren't in school as well as the full remote. We have two locations, Spruce and the high school. To the first day we did it, which would have been Monday, we didn't have a lot of people coming. So today, sadly, at Spruce, I heard that they ran out of lunches around 11:30, and that's supposed to go 11 to 12. So the high school is then open from 12 to 1. So there's a 2-hour window from 11 to 1. The first hour is at Spruce School in the front. The second hour from 12 to 1 is at the high school, which is utilizing the back loop by the science wing, which is by Sportsplex and the Blue Bus Garage on Ridge Road there. And then our evening hours for pickup of lunches will be 4 to 5 going forward. Again, on Monday when we did it, not too many people came after 4:45, so it seems like the rush was right at 4. So we'll be planning. Today's a day, Wednesday, where you get 3 lunches and 3 breakfasts to get you through the rest of the week. And then Monday, you get 2 breakfasts and 2 lunches to get you through. So we're giving 5 meals for that piece. Some other things that we're watching and working on with the Department of Health is to make sure that they pretty much categorize people into A, B, and C groups. So you are an A person with the Department of Health if you have a positive COVID test. B people are the people that you may have come in contact with. And so when we get the call, they'll be asking us, if and when we get a call, I anticipate we probably will at some point, who they were with and what their day looked like and if their masks were worn and how close they were. And then the Department of Health would contact families or staff if they feel like they need to be in that 14-day quarantine window. And then C people are people that are on the peripheral, so to speak. So you did not get contacted by the Department of Health, but you were at a party, and a week later you hear someone there got COVID-19, and you're worried because you were there. The way that we're being described to see people is that if the person said that you were there or you were a possible close to them or not wearing a mask and that type of thing, you would have been called. So we just ask those people who are C people to, again, watch for symptoms, take your temperature, monitor for that. Never hurts to go and get a test to make sure, but they wouldn't be required to quarantine for 14 days right out of the gate. A and B people may, and the Department of Health would be contacting them. And much like the person who started with Lackawanna, and where they were on the news today because they had a case there, the school will notify you that there was a case in the school, but we can't get too specific because of the HIPAA laws as far as what grade level or adult or student or where that was. So we're moving forward. We're already, the halfway point of September here. So we're looking forward to inviting everyone back. The other things that we'll be working on is the typical open house obviously can't happen because we have no building has less than 300 students in it full time. And with 2 parents coming or all the kids, we're way over 600-700 people that would maybe come to an open house. So I have taken a few phone calls where parents are concerned that they might want to meet with their teacher and talk with them. So we're going to see with the principals if there's a safe way to do that or if we need to do something virtually or if we'll just work with the phone calls for now to make sure everybody's safe. With the state numbers and the governor, he's been changing some things back and forth. I think you all saw yesterday there was a possibility of canceling trick-or-treating, and then today he said he won't cancel trick-or-treating for Halloween, but that he'll put out some guidelines for that. So that changes for school districts on a daily basis as well. And I know as parents that's frustrating sometimes where you think the rules are being changed in the middle of the game, but they're constantly looking at data at the Department of Health and at the state level, and they're informing us as need be, and then we make those changes that we need to make sure everybody stays safe. Okay. Okay, so we're not going to use this site to get back and forth with people. Obviously, some people are pretty adamant about schools and if they should be open full or not. We're just going to follow the rules that we have been in place. So I don't want you to start picking each other apart if someone says we should be remote and you shouldn't and that kind of piece, because everybody's got their own perspective and their own issues too, right? With who's in their household and who may be immune compromised. And some people are a little bit more worried about it than others, and other people disregard all the rules and don't wear any masks. So that's not what we do here. We're here to give you information and answer questions. So I did get good news. Someone says when are the chargers coming for the iPads that they were supposed to be delivered to BOCES, where we purchased them through, tomorrow the 17th. So I anticipate as soon as we get them in our hands, we'll be doing a global call or you'll be contacted by the school on how we can get them to you. So that was good news, and we're sorry for that delay, but as just like wipes and paper towels and everything ran out in stores, there's a big rush on technology by school districts and parents to buy it and get updated, and supplies were short. But we did get an email, I think it was Monday, that said they should be in and delivered to BOCES the 17th. So then we just have to get them here to NT and then let you know when you can pick them up. Can children come to the meeting at Ohio tonight? So that would, I'm assuming it's a homeschool meeting, and the principal and myself do not run those, the parents run those. So there are limits though, still, they have to follow, they can't have more than 25 to 50 people, and they have to wear masks and that sort of thing. So there's a meeting tonight that's not the homeschool meeting at Ohio that I'm not aware of, then I would call the school and ask. But otherwise, I'm sure the Ohio parents have a Facebook page, and you could ask that question there. Right now, the youth center isn't distributing lunches again. So we've talked to Pastor Chad at the Lumber City Church and the youth center. Both said they would be willing to, but the program changed from March. So in March, it was free food for everybody. And when they did that, they wanted to, where you could distribute it from had different guidelines. Now, the ruling that was passed in New York State for schools is that it's K through 12, and they really want us to keep it in the K through 12 buildings to give that out. So they are on board and they have offered. So if that ruling changes by the state, we would take them up on that offer. But right now, that won't be an option. Do you have an update on iPad cameras not working in Microsoft Teams? My daughter was told it was a BOCES issue. So, yeah, so some of that is internal to the computer that the teachers are using. We found out with BOCES that you need a 64-bit processor, and some computers in our schools are 32-bit processors. So they're doing a workaround and they're doing pushes. They do it electronically at night to see if we can get that up and running. That what they're talking about, if you're not familiar, is that Teams that we use did an update over the summer that you can have more people and more faces on the screen, because it was limited to just 9, but now we can do more, and some computers are having an issue with that. So our tech department knows those computers. We also have some new computers that came in over the summer, but because the push was to get iPads ready, we didn't update the teacher computers as we normally would have in the summer when we had more time. So there's a couple things happening, but I would think within a month or so it should all be corrected. But you can still get in to Teams and hear. You just might not see a picture. So this is a question about the BOCES program. Why can't he do all his work on the Chrome work? So I'm not sure what BOCES program he's in. We have all kinds of levels of BOCES from pre-K all the way through the CT program beyond 12th grade. So that would be a BOCES question. So in our district, we use Orleans Niagara BOCES, but some students are placed in Erie County, which would be Erie 1. So that would be that school and that program's question. If Jean Coyle wants to call BOCES, that's fine, or if they want to give me a grade level, I could maybe look into that for her. My kids are doing great. Thank you, teachers, both in person and online at NTI and the middle school. Thank you for everything. So the mass break policy isn't a policy. It is online as far as that mass breaks will be provided. And we try to do that every 40 minutes so that they're rotating it. So if both of us were wearing a mask because we weren't 6 feet apart, the teacher may say, Mr. Witella, take your mask off now for a minute while you're sitting at your desk. And then I would put mine back on, and then the interpreter would be able to take his off for a minute or two. So from what I've heard, that's been working well. I've been in the buildings almost every of the 4 days that we've been back, and it seems great. Kids are really excited to be back and taking direction well, and I don't see anybody abusing anything or not following the rules. So that's good news because that means we'll stay safe and we'll stay open. I want to know about iPads as well. Other schools said their children cannot call each other. My son has children calling his iPad nonstop. They were asked to stop and they keep at it. How do we stop this feature? So now that that's here, we can see if the tech department can put something on that for them because we can push out programs, and there are restrictions on the iPad because they're school iPads. So that might just be something that the kids set up on their own as well, and we can look to do that. But I would call your son's school first to let them know the problem, and I'll send this to the tech department, but we'll need to know if this is a specific to a grade level or not. My son is so happy he's back. He's even happy today with his remote work. Thank you for the hard work. Okay, based on today, Wednesdays will be tough for working families. Zoom Teams meetings for 2 kids in 2 different grades. Elementary, all while working full-time from home. How can we get the district to manage their expectations of parents? So most parents are asking for some live contact on Wednesdays, and that's going to have to be at a certain time. But we've also put out that the lessons are recorded and they're there to get them at different times. So if this is proving to be difficult in your household with your working and not being able to help them, I would tell them to take a breath. And while they may miss a certain component of talking with the other kids in the class, the lesson should still be there with the work afterwards. So if you're at NTI and you're telling me you didn't receive 2 masks, I would call NTI because my report was that everybody had those the first day. So I would assume that they would have given them on Monday for the Monday, Tuesday kids and Thursday for the Thursday, Friday kids. NTI is an elementary building still, even though it's 4, 5, 6, and teachers may have chosen to give out one or not send them home if kids were wearing a mask so that they have some in class when they forget. So that would be specific to the building and the teacher. But they're all here. They've been in this summer, so there should be no problem getting them. Today, Wednesday for high school students doing hybrids, should they be on Schoology all day? So they should be checking in. They should be following a schedule. And today is a different Wednesday from future Wednesdays because we did invite our all remote students who are never coming to school to come in Wednesday and meet the teachers if they wanted to get textbooks and any kind of materials that they may need. So teachers were not available maybe the whole day like they will be going forward. And Wednesdays at the high school in Schoology, they should be telling you in advance if they need to follow the schedule and be online at a certain time, as if they were in school, or if it will be a lesson for the day and they'll be office hours. So it'll be a little bit different depending on the subjects they're taking at the high school. Thank you for keeping us informed. North Tonawanda City School District has done a wonderful job. The school year started out well. Thank you. If you need masks, I recommend the ones from Target, so someone's giving you some shopping tips. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. We're not going to get into that. My daughter received hers at NT High School on Monday in school during the first day. We have masks, just wondering about the school ones. Thanks for the recommendations. So Jean is, and that was the BOCES question, right? I'm just going to go back for a minute. You're telling me 12th grade. Okay, so Jean, you're narrowing it down for me, and I don't want to get into specifics um, with your child's. Let me just get back to where I was here. With your child's program, right? Because there's some privacy issues. But I can now look into it to see if it's something that they're going out to BOCES for, or if it's a BOCES program in the high school, and then we can get back to you with that information. Mr. Current Class, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you for everything you're doing for children. Okay, my daughter and a classmate worked on assignments together today after their meeting. I was actually happy this was possible. They are in sixth grade. Please don't disable this feature. Oh, so that's going back to the parent who said kids were calling each other. So yeah, so technology is like that, right? So it can be a help to people when they can communicate that way. But if, the kids are just calling to talk to their friend, it shouldn't, a parent doesn't want that. You're also able to, just like my own kids when they were little, if they had a phone or a device that they were misusing, they didn't have it the next day because I took it away at night especially, so it wasn't in their room. So you can put some controls on it that way. So I don't know if we'll be able to disable it for everybody, if that's one of the expectations, that kids will communicate and do teamwork together. But maybe we can contact that parent and tell them how they can shut it off manually on that computer, on that iPad. So just to recap a few things, that the week of October 5th, we'll be doing some more planning with administrators, teachers, and students for what the second half of the 5 weeks will look like, as well as what we look like for beyond week 10 if we keep the low COVID cases and we're open. I do want to stress again that the lunches that you need if you're in the hybrid or full remote model are at Spruce from 11 to 12 on Mondays and Wednesdays. High school 12 to 1, so there's 2 hour window there, same days, Monday and Wednesday. And then again, an evening pickup at the high school from 4 to 5. So I have some names and some grade levels, and I will go back through this and I'll try and get those people those answers. It's always best to first start with your child's building, because they're probably building specific questions as far as assignments or masks or things like that. But I assure you that all those were purchased and they're there. So it's just a matter of what the teacher was planning on handing them out or keeping them in supply for if someone came in without one. The masks we gave out were cloth, so they are washable, and I recommend that that happens so that you're staying as safe as possible. Is there a chance of 5 day a week in person after 5 weeks, or are we waiting until after 10? So it most likely, I have to tell you honestly, it would be after 10, because the 5 days a week means that everybody's back, and then the rules the governor and the state put in place about social distancing we wouldn't be able to do that. We wouldn't have enough space in the classroom to just keep the 6 feet apart, or the busing for that. So it's a solid 10 for the hybrid model, and then we'll see where we go after that. BOCES bus for juniors and seniors, that is going to be offered daily now that we have a head count who's been attending. So they got numbers today for the first time for Wednesday, and Wednesday shouldn't be a problem because we have the extra drivers in the buses who aren't doing other runs. Our Monday and Tuesday and our Thursday, Friday count is still fluctuating, but I do have a meeting with transportation to look at those numbers and the high school principal to see if we can do that for everybody. If we can't do it for everybody, we probably will keep it as fair as possible, which means the day you're in attendance and Wednesday. So everybody would get 3 days of service to BOCES busing. So the reevaluating of schools reopening full-time will be part of our October 5th week, so we know what we're looking at for week 11 after the 10 weeks are up. But for full reopening, the guidelines from the state basically would have to change, that we don't have to social distance. So this could be a long year, but we're going to try and adapt and change to get as many kids in as many days as possible. All right, so we appreciate everybody being patient. I do ask that you share this because we know a lot of people are working during the day. And as I mentioned before, I'm a little bit tied into the time I can do it with the interpreter, which is fine because that's been very appreciative and they do a great job. So if I need to, though, even if I can't get an interpreter schedule, if there's major changes, I'll do an evening one. Like I did in the past, and that way we can get it out there for 99% of the people, which is a good thing. And I noticed YouTube, or what am I on? Ooh, Facebook's probably not happy I said YouTube. Facebook started to put closed captioning in, but it's not very consistent. But as soon as they could do that as well, then the evening ones won't be a problem. So I'll try and reschedule them at some other time. So we want to thank everybody for their patience this week. I think North Tonawanda did a great job. I have to thank the teachers especially. I know some of the complaints out there for all school districts is, well, we had since March, why weren't we ready? But I just will remind you that the governor did not tell us that we'd be able to reopen until July. And then we had until July 31st to come up with a plan. And then we had to wait until August 5th or 7th, or in that time, for them to tell us if the plan was accepted. So after August 7th, even though we're kind of planning our plan would be okay, it really only left us the 3 or 4 weeks to get ready and get things in motion because we didn't know in March that we could open in any fashion in September. So we're very grateful that we are able to open. Our goal has always been and always will be as a Board of Education and as administrators and staff is to be back to normal with full students, and we just hope that there's some restrictions lifted at the state level that will allow school districts to do that. And I thank everybody again. Stay safe and stay strong, wear your mask, and we'll be back next Wednesday. Thank you.